The Colt single-action Army revolver, probably not the most technologically sophisticated gun of its day. The French, for example, had a much more advanced design in 1873. But what the 1873 single-action Army, or the Peacemaker, had was power. This was a full-size gun firing a man's cartridge. It's a 255 grain lead bullet at over 800 feet per second.
You know, if you ask anybody what gun won the West, they'd probably tell you the Colt single-action Army. Probably one of the most widely recognized firearms profiles in the world. We have decades of Hollywood westerns and television shows to thank for that. And in truth, this probably was the most widely used large revolver in the Old West.
The single-action Army had something that a lot of guns in its day did not. It had style. It had what we'd call ergonomics. When you pick up a Colt single-action Army, it's got the plow handle grip. This grip is designed so that when you fire the gun, it actually rolls in the hand and comes back down.
The Colt had a lot to offer. It was powerful enough to be effective for lawmen, outlaws, cowboys who might have to put down rampaging livestock. It was hell for stout. Very reliable gun, fairly easily repaired, tended to function through all sorts of adverse conditions, sand, dust, mud. It took a licking and kept on ticking.
Now the thing about a single-action Army you have to remember is this is not a 6-shooter, it's a 5-shooter. It's got 6 cylinders, but what it has is this firing pin here. And when you jostle that firing pin, it will set off a cartridge if it's underneath the hammer. Typically, cowboys, lawmen, gunfighters even, would carry 5 shots in their single-action Army rather than 6. These things are a pain to load. It takes time. And a reload in the Old West was grabbing another gun. The single-action Army was adopted in 1873 by the U.S. Army. This was the standard sidearm of the United States cavalry. And of course, the cavalry had a very important role to play in the Old West. Single-action Army in the hand, when you shoot it, I mean, it's almost magical. There are very few guns that handle as well as a single-action Army. When you put that gun out, it just points naturally. That is one of the reasons why people in the Old West, everybody, loved the single-action Army because of its pointability. Typically, soldiers would use longer barrels. This gun in particular has a 7.5-inch barrel. If you're thinking about taking this gun out of a holster, it's going to take you all day. That's why there were shorter barreled models, such as the Sheriff's model, that had shorter barrels. If you're coming up out of a holster, this barrel will clear a lot faster than, say, a 7.5-inch barrel.
There's the old saying that God created man, Sam Colt made him equal. This is the gun they were talking about.